everyone. Awesome. So let us begin. So this isn't read only, but just to reshare it. Like, so some of you have had your clocks changed. Some of us are due in a couple of weeks' time, and then Myra is in 3 weeks' time. So just in this kind of in between. And Ruben, do you change clocks as well? You didn't check. No, you don't.
No,
so you
no,
don't change. Graham also doesn't change. So over the next 3 weeks, as some clocks are changing, and then once we get beyond this, we can reassess. But please speak up if any meetings jump to times that either don't work for you anymore, or if it gives you any clashes. I think we will have to just move things around a little bit for the next few weeks until we get through the back into summertime for those who switch. Awesome. So first discussion item is Vlad has joined us. So he is joining us for a learning internship. He is one of the senior support engineers kind of focused on Kubernetes. So he's going to be pairing up with Henry and be around with us until early June. So reach out and say hi. You'll probably see him around in Slack. I think he's going to probably reach out and set up coffee chats with you all over the next couple of months as well. But if he has any questions, please do what you can to help him out. Awesome. And then B is a little bit updatey, but just in case we have questions and things. So Jav just posted before in Slack, but we have made a small adjustment onto incidents relating to deployment related incidents, but also other types of incidents. So we're grouping deployment related incidents along with other backstage things. So that will include like failing backups or monitoring going missing, or all of those risks, which are basically, we're fine right now, but we have increased the risk in the future. So Jav just posted before, he's updated the Woodhouse UI for when you declare a new incident, removed the deployment related incident sort of check, and replaced it with one which will add the backstage label. So a few things that kind of, I guess, a little extra context around this one. So this is only for things that are fully internal. Like if you have something that's production related, like go ahead and raise it as a fully fledged incident so that it can be assessed for whether it is actually customer impacting or not. And then the other thing that's perhaps not super visible right now is one of the reasons behind shifting this is reliability are trying to figure out how to help the EOC, because it's a bit of an overloaded role right now. There's lots going on. There's often lots of incidents. So what this backstage label will be used for is for the EOC to start making some prioritization calls. What I'm expecting to happen is there's likely there'll be like a secondary on-call rotation gets created, and the secondary on-call engineer would be the person who would help out on the backstage things. So for now, you may not see sort of any too practical changes beyond the labeling, but hopefully in the next few weeks, it will help shift the process a bit so that we get a little bit more dedicated help when we do need it on, like, particularly on staging incidents. Who has some questions about this?
I suppose this doesn't change feature flags being blocked and everything else. Okay.
No, that's a great question. Yes, so that's a separate process. Jav has got an issue open to propose that and to pull apart incidents and deployment blockers and feature flag blockers. We will need to go to compliance and check what that looks like, because our current process of overriding a deployment comes with very explicit approval from the engineer on call, which then gets documented, and compliance are using that to make sure that kind of decisions about changes going into production are made by someone who kind of has all the information. So shifting this to labels, I think should be possible, but we just need to, like, it's a separate process to get that kind of compliance approved. Awesome. Great. And Myra, you have the next point.
Yep, thanks. I just wanted to share the results of the initial testing for the new reorder. Well, basically everything is working as expected. The CI and the new jobs are working now. So Jay, the next step is to change the auto deploy process to use this new configuration by default. With that, we are going to change the pipeline schedule of the auto deploy tag to use the new branch. We are still not going to merge the changes to master. That will be done later. And then as a reminder, there are multiple changes, but the main ones is the deploy order. We are going to deploy to the canaries first. That means that it is a staging canary, then Q&A, then production canary, then Q&A, then baking time of 30 minutes, then staging and production are going to be deployed roughly at the same time with a separation of 30 minutes. Then it is going to be, the post-deployment migrations on staging, then it is going to be Q&A on staging, and then the post-deployment migrations on production. And other changes like baking time only taking 30 minutes instead of 1 hour is something that we should also notice. And one interesting one that I wasn't quite aware is that the coordination pipeline duration is going to be shorter, around 5 hours instead of the regular 8 hours. Which is great. And well, if someone has any questions outside of the team, we have like an issue dedicated to this with an announcement and with questions. Please point this person or persons to this issue. And of course, if you have any questions, well, I'm going to be around and Graves is also going to be around, or you can also ask them right now if you have any. So that's
Good question. Do we know why the timing dropped so much? Is it because we're doing those 2 deploys simultaneously? Was there anything else?
Yeah, mainly that one, because now staging normally lasts 1 hour, 1.5 hours with Q&A, and production is 2 hours. So yeah, we are doing those simultaneously, and we are also executing a shorter baking time of only 30 minutes. Of course, the time really depends on the deployment. It might be longer if we have, saying like a long post-deployment migrations, then the timing is going to increase. But once we also start working with separating the post-deployment migrations from the coordinated pipeline, then the timing should be more stable and doesn't like decrease or increase oftenly.
And so is this the official switchover?
Yes, thank you. I still need some sort of confirmation by Grains to say that everything is ready to be like switched over. But yeah, it might be today. I still need to confirm with Grains, but probably tomorrow or this week. It should be this week.
Awesome. Okay, so.
Yep. And I think that's it. Yep.
Probably just one thing that's sort of like perhaps for added awareness is we have a few things that don't have a canary. So Kaz is one of those, Sidekick is one of those. There possibly are others. So just whilst we make this shift, we perhaps just be aware of that, which is why Skarbek on your MR, I just linked Graham in on there as well. Just that we make a plan basically about how are we going to get these things back so that we don't lose sort of test coverage for them. Awesome, great stuff. Thanks for the update, Myra, and exciting stuff. Thank you for helping get us to this stage, and everyone else who's been involved as well. Actually, this is going to be huge. Like, I think we've kind of adapted to having Stage and Canary in there as an additional environment, so it'll be super exciting to like get back to not having an additional duplicated environment again. So nice work. Awesome. So release managers, deployment blockers looked pretty low last week, so hopefully that means it was a good week. But what was your kind of assessment? Is there anything we need to adapt based on last week?
I don't believe so, but I do have a question about the metrics we're gathering into Periscope. I'm not seeing data from March show up.
Did you hit the refresh?
I did. Like our MTP P in hours stops in February. Like it says March 2022, but like I can't tell. And then like for the MTTP daily, it doesn't look like there's any data after February 28.
Do you want to just quickly share your screen?
Yeah. So this is the first one I was looking at, and you know, it says March, but like there's no date stamp. So like if this is either all or partial of March, I'm curious as to what this includes. Because down here, we don't have anything after March or
Interesting.
after February 28th.
Ah,
This
interesting.
only says February. So I'm just like,
You refresh them individually. Does that work? So you see above the,
I hit this refresh button up here earlier because this said 268 hours ago. I'm like, well, that's probably not what I want. So this didn't change. That didn't change. And that did not change. It looks the same.
Interesting. Okay. Because I think the top one is most likely to be the accurate one. That's the one in the handbook, right? Because that's per
Yeah, that's how I got
month.
here.
Yeah. I wonder why the daily ones. Take a look at that. It might just be the way it's rendering. Some of them do update on kind of random dates, but
well, you know, unless there's something new that we learn, I don't think we need to adjust anything. Despite a few incidents last week, I was still able to see at least 2 deployments out during my time, which was pretty good for the most part.
awesome.
That might change today because I'm forward an hour and I don't know math and calculators and date stamps. I don't know what that does to me, but we'll see.
Awesome. And once we have done the switch over, you may need to adjust the schedule because things will be a little faster.
I'm looking forward to that. So Myra, let's put that in place today.
I'm all in for that, yes.
Let's get the checks, whatever Graham needs to double check on. Like, let's do that bit as well. But yeah, it'll be great to have that in place. So awesome. Is there any other stuff anyone wants to bring up on the recording?
Should we go ahead and make the release metadata repository available to all engineers? Because we have a go ahead from compliance. So
oh, really?
I think we can, yeah, I think we can go ahead with that.
Awesome. Yeah, I think as long as that's all that's in there, like there's no extra other things, then yeah, I think that makes like a lot of sense. It may be helpful once we've done this to help people understand kind of what to use that for. So it could be worth also having like a update in engineering review, which is just a little bit more, you can put on the comment on the issue as well, but just here's what people get access to. Here are the sorts of questions you'll now be able to answer with this data so that people can actually make use of it.
Yeah, that's a little difficult it's not very human readable. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It also reminds me of the issue, which I don't know if you raised, Robert, but you mentioned about the fact that the way we structure that data is a little tricky to, now we're doing so many auto deploys, like the actual folder structure is a little bit tricky. Should we plan to adjust that for 15.0? Like we may not be able to get a clean switch over, but we could try and switch like shortly before 15.0 so that we go into a year and have things structured consistently.
Yeah, there is an issue for that, but I can't remember if it was like some discussion on an unrelated issue or do we have a dedicated issue for it?
I think there is a dedicated issue to like, what was is to group them by milestone, I think was the proposal rather than package, right? There was to put in a little bit more structure, I think. But I'll dig out the issue. I'll show
I think,
it.
yeah, I think they're only sorted by major version and we need to do major and minor or something like that.
Because that's going to get increasingly bigger problem, right? As we increase the number of deploys we're doing, it gets a little tricky to find what you need. So I say, let's see if I can, I'll see if I can find that. We can try and get that scheduled so that it'd be awesome to do it in like 14.10, right? So that we just have an inconsistent layout just for a little bit before we hit 15.0, and then all the 15s would be like correctly organized.
I do have a question about this item. When you say available to all, you mean available to all GitLab team members or to all the public, like in general?
Since the repository is on ops, I don't think it is possible to have any project on ops available to the public. So maximum we can do, and maximum I intended to do here, was make it available to all team members.
Okay, I think that's fine. I was wondering about security releases because the SHAs from the security commits are going to be displayed on the repository. But if it is not visible to the public, then I think we're fine.
Yeah. SHAs from security will be visible.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. I mean, I think in ops that's fine. But anyway, let's take a review on the issue and see if there's any final concerns before we go ahead.
Okay, I'll put a comment over there. Maybe I'll ping that infrastructure security group again.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. Cool. Okay. Thanks a lot. Are there any other things people want to bring up on the recording? No? Okay.
I don't like daylight savings time. Can I say that on the recording?
You can say it. I personally am looking.
That's too hot to take for a recording.